Good morning, students. Today I am going to explain about I/O interfacing. I/O interfacing is a very important topic for doing projects. Why this is very important? When you are doing projects, if you want to interface an input device with the microprocessor and output device with this microprocessor, you need this basic idea. Today I am going to explain how to interface the input device and output device with the microprocessor. So first, the block diagram is microprocessor. Next, in the right end, there are four devices are available. One is called a sensor, second one is switch, third one is LED, another one is motor. I have taken two examples, two input device and two output device. Sensor is an input device, switch is an input device, LED and motor are output device. If I want to interface this input device and output device to the processor, I need I/O ports. So I/O port, it is used to interface the microprocessor and the peripheral device. Peripheral device means that is input device and output device. You take example switch. Suppose I am going to on the switch. So if the switch is on, the status is high. The status will be sent to the input port. From the input port, it will go to the microprocessor. Next, you take temperature sensor. The temperature sensor value will send to the ports, input port. From the input port, it will go to the microprocessor. For example, you take, I want to run the motor. So from the motor, suppose I want to run the motor, from microprocessor, I will send the data to the output port. From the output port, the data will be sent to the motor. I want to display the LED display. So I want to display the number 4. So the values will be sent from the microprocessor to the output ports. From the output port, it will send to the LED display. This is about the basic of I/O interfacing. So what is meant by I/O interfacing? The transfer of data between input device to microprocessor and microprocessor to output device is called as I/O data transfer. This data transfer is done by using the I/O ports. So there are two ports are available. One is called as an input port, another one is output port. Input port, it is used to connect the input device. Output port, it is used to connect the output device. So input device, it consists of buffer. There is a buffer is available in the input port. What is meant by buffer? When you read the data from the buffer will become as empty. So when you send the second data, the buffer will be gets full. When you read the data, the buffer will be empty. So here there is an enable pin is there. That enable pin it is used to select the or enable the buffer. So there are various control signals are available. That is called as enable control signal. From the keyboard is an input device. From the keyboard, the data should be sent to the input port. From the input port, it is sent to the data bus of your microprocessor. Each input device has one address. Each input has some address. Next, we can see about what is meant by output port. Output port means it is used to connect the output device. So this output device consists of latch. What is meant by latch? When you store any data in the latch, and after that, if you read any data, the data will be available. So whenever I store a new data, the old data will get erased. So that is called as latch. So the output device is connected to the microprocessor to latch. The latch is activated by using the clock signal. I/O interfacing techniques. There are two types of I/O interfacing techniques is available. One is called as an I/O mapped I/O. Another one is memory mapped I/O techniques. In I/O mapped I/O techniques, there are 8 lines are needed. 8 data lines are needed. By using these 8 data lines, we can connect 256 input device and output device. I/O mapped I/O techniques, only 8 lines are needed. 2 power 8 means 256. We can connect 256 input device and output device. And if you use memory mapped IO techniques, 16 lines are needed. 16 lines, 2 power 16 is 65,536. You can connect 65,536 devices. But if you connect more devices, so the delay will be more. So the circuit is more complex. So there will be a lot of delays will available. So here there are two control signals is available. One is called as IO, another one is M. So IO represents that is called as an input output device. M represent it is called as an memory. So if the particular pin value is low, it will select as it will consider as a memory. If the particular pin is high, means it will select as an input or output device. In IO mapped IO techniques, only 8 lines are needed. So totally there are 16 address lines are available. So that is called as a lower byte address and higher byte address. A0 to A7 is called as lower byte address. A8 to A15 it is called as higher byte address. So here the address is 60. You can see this is a binary number. So this binary number we have to convert into an hexadecimal number. When you convert into hexadecimal number, the value is 60. So this is the address. So there are two instructions are used. One is called as an IN instruction, another one is called as an out instruction. IN means it will read the data. IN 60 means 60 is the address of the input device. It will read the data from the input device and it will store the value in the accumulator. Out 60 means from the microprocessor, there is a register is there, accumulator or a register. From that register, the data will be sent to the output device. IO device selection. Now we are going to select how to select the IO device. So there is a buffer and latch is available in the port. For input device means there is a buffer which will be enabled. Output device means latch will be enabled. The right side there is an IO device is available, whether it is an input device or output device. Left side the microprocessor is connected. Here we are having the decoder is available. Only 8 lines are used, so it is called as an IO mapped IO techniques. So this is a decoder. What is meant a decoder means 3 input means 8 output, 2 power n output. 2 input means 2 power n is equal to 4 outputs. So here there are 3 selection lines available, that is called as A0, A1 and A2. That's G1 bar, G2 bar and G bar. G is connected to A7, that is called as high. G1 bar and G2 bar is low. So A3, A4, A5, A6 is low. All the signals are low. So by using this method, we can connect 256 input device and output device. Now I am giving the values 0, 0, 0 in A0, A1 and A2. So what will happen means in the output, the Y0 will be selected. When Y0 is selected, and if you select Y0 is selected, that value is 0. Next IO / memory bar, that value is low. So it will become as high. There is a NOT gate is there, it is high. Now I am going to explain it is an input device. So that is called as read operation, low. So 1, 0 means the output is low. So automatically the buffer will get enabled. Once buffer is enabled, from the input device, the data is transferred to the data bus of your microprocessor. Interfacing input device. So how to interface the keyboard? So keyboard, there are various types there. Dot matrix keyboard is available. Normally switching row switches available, column switches are available. Here I am going to explain how to connect 8 switches with your microprocessor. So there are 8 switches are there. So DIP switches are available, S0 to S7, that is connected to the ports. So in the ports, there is a buffer is selected. Buffer activation signal is called as OB. Other end is called as a data bus of the microprocessor. So in the signal, if you give 001, 000 in the address, automatically A0 is 0, A1 is 0, A2 is 0. So Y0 is selected. When Y0 is selected, automatically the input port is enabled. So the switch, input switch data is sent to the microprocessor. Next, we are going to see how to interface an output device. Here I am taking 8 LEDs. So switches for input device, for output device I am taking 8 LEDs. So here the LEDs are connected to the Y1. So if you connect to Y0, the address is 80. If you connect to Y1 means the address is 81. So here the input device is connected to Y0. So the input device address is 80. But here the output device LED is connected to Y1. So the address is 81. You can see why it is 81 means in decoder G is G, it is high. So A7 is high. A5, A4 and A6 is low. So I have represented as low. A3 is connected to G1. So it is also low. So now the LED is connected to Y1. So I got to give 001 in the decoder input. So if you combine this value, the hexadecimal value is 81. This is the address of the output device. So now from the microprocessor, the data is sent to the latch. From the latch, the data is sent to the output device. Suppose I want to enable all the LED means if I send FF, all the LEDs will be on. If you give 00, all the LEDs will be off. So this is the IO mapped IO techniques. By using these techniques, there is switches are connected as well as LED is connected. So LED is an output device. It is connected to the latch. From the latch, it is connected to the data bus of the microprocessor. Input device is switch. Switch is connected to the input port buffer. From the buffer, it is connected to the microprocessor data bus. Decoder circuit, it is used to select the input device or output device. IO/memory bar, it is used to select the input device or output device. RD means it will read the data from the input device. Write means it will write the data from the microprocessor to output device. Next one is memory mapped IO techniques. In IO mapped IO techniques, we can connect only 256 devices. If you want to connect more number of input device and output device, we have to go for memory mapped IO techniques. In memory mapped IO techniques, there are 16 address lines are required. So 2 power 16 is 65,536 device we can connect. So in the previous example, you can see only 7 address lines are used. But here, the 16 address lines is used. So that this is called as memory mapped IO techniques. The remaining everything is same. Here, in memory mapped IO techniques, we are using 16 address lines. In IO mapped IO techniques, we are using only 8 address lines. So that is a difference. Next, we are going to see about the difference between memory mapped IO technique and IO mapped IO techniques. First point is, in IO mapped IO techniques, 8 address lines is used. In memory mapped IO techniques, 16 address lines is used. So here that is option is IO read and IO read write control signal. But in memory mapped IO technique, memory read, memory write. In IO mapped IO techniques, only 2 instructions are used. One is called as in, another one is called as out. But in memory mapped IO techniques, there are LDA instruction, STA instruction, LDAX, like that more instructions are used. The data transfer takes place from register to output device. But here, data transfer is taken between accumulator and output device. In memory mapped IO techniques, the data transfer is taken place from any register to input device and output device. But in IO mapped IO techniques, the data transfer takes place from accumulator to peripheral device. Maximum 256 device we can connect using IO mapped, but memory map 65,536. In IO mapped IO techniques, the speed is constant, that is called as 10T. But in memory mapped IO techniques, the time is changed, that is 7 clock cycle it will take, 13 clock cycle, so it will get changed. So in IO mapped IO techniques, the number of address lines is less, so the decoding circuit is require less hardware. So for 16 address lines, it will require more hardware. Next, what is meant by full address decoding and another is partial address decoding. Partial address decoding means it used only less number of address lines. Full address decoding means it will use more number of address lines. So more hardware is needed, less hardware is needed for partial. So when more hardware is there means cost of the hardware circuit is more, less number of address lines means decoding circuit cost is less. So it is used in a small system. Partial address decoding it is used for small system. Full address decoding it is used for large system. This is all about the IO interfacing techniques.